Hi, I'm Daniel, I'm a sleep physician, and if you have insomnia, this channel is for you. What should you be doing if you, like Kaylee, start bedtime restriction therapy and don't get a wink of sleep one of the first nights? Nice seeing you back here, and if it's your first time on the channel, welcome. I hope you find something of interest here. Yesterday I was thinking about, what I should be talking about in today's episode, and I realized there's this, I think, really helpful tip that I always tell patients about in clinic that I never talked about here, and it just so happened that it is kind of the perfect answer to an email with a question or a concern from Kaylee. As always, nothing here is specific medical advice to anyone, but general advice, general thoughts that may be helpful to you, Kaylee, or anybody else watching this. That being said, let's read this email from Kaylee. Hello, I unfortunately gave up on SR as I had one bad night. SR is sleep restriction therapy, and we'll get back to that in a second. I slept okay the night before, but last night was a total disaster, not a wink of sleep. Sorry to hear this, obviously, Kaylee, but I'm very thankful you sent this email because this is a very important point here. So for you who are not familiar with sleep restriction or bedtime restriction therapy, it is really a cornerstone of cognitive behavioral therapy, which this channel is really about. So what is that for you that are not familiar with it? Well, bedtime restriction or sleep restriction therapy entails limiting time in bed. So, you set a fairly late time, which is the earliest time you're allowed to go to bed. So you're delaying your bedtime and you have to get up early and at the same time every morning. So you're limiting time in bed, hoping that you build a strong sleep drive, a sleep need, a sleep hunger that will not only help you fall asleep, but sustain sleep throughout the night. Now, keep in mind that you or whoever is starting bedtime restriction often has, or always has, I should say, insomnia. And the first night or second night, things may actually get even worse. Because now, if you are having a hard time falling asleep, or you wake up in the middle of the night and then have a hard time falling back asleep, you're still not allowed to sleep in. You have to get up early, which means that the first couple of nights of sleep restriction therapy or bedtime restriction, you may get even less sleep. You may sleep even worse than you typically do. Sometimes, like in Kaylee's case here, you may not sleep at all, which of course is terrible. But here, this is the tip. This is what I tell people about. Remember that if you sleep really poorly or not at all one of the first nights, and you're able to still get up and still maintain wakefulness, stay awake until your bedtime, then you are going to have built up a really strong sleep drive. You're going to really need some sleep, and hopefully night 2 or night 3 or night 4, if you kind of stick to bedtime restriction, that sleep drive is going to help things fall into place. You are going to start falling asleep and staying asleep. So it's kind of like, that saying, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade. You have a really poor night. We'll think of it as, this is a terrible night, but my sleep drive is going to be stronger, and hopefully tomorrow night, or maybe the night after that, things will start falling into place. Hope this was helpful. As always, if you have questions, concerns, a sleep problem you want to talk about, leave a comment or email me at insomniainsight@gmail.com, or leave me a voicemail at 503-489-4802. And with that said, I hope to see you back here very soon. And for now, take it easy.